guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new Entitled People content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
First one is titled, Karen Thinks She Can Have Free Use of My Truck. A few years ago, I had a side hustle on my days off. My job had a rotational schedule where I worked 2 weeks then got 2 weeks off. I made plenty of money at my job, but it didn't hurt to make a little extra cash. I was in essence a tour guide, but for the region I lived in. I didn't have any planned tours, but usually just took people to see neat places that they would not know about or think to go to. I was adamant about getting paid up front, and customers signed an agreement saying that made guarantees to protect my truck from messes or damage. Never had any issues, fortunately, and people always enjoyed the places I showed them. Except for one family. They seemed friendly enough when I was having them sign a contract and collecting my fee. I should mention my fee was $15/hour plus $75, $35 if it was a half day. This covered a tank of fuel, plus paid for my time shoveling you around. I also kept a cooler with free water and some limited snacks. You were paying for my knowledge of the region, plus knowledge about the area's history and such. Plenty of times I had customers tell me, I'd never seen so much cool stuff in one day. You could maybe find something cheaper, but I didn't care. Once money changed hands, with this family the attitude changed. They began treating me like I was a second-class citizen. But I had their money, so I didn't care. I drove them around to some of the most beautiful scenery you can find. It's rare people are left speechless by these places, and never have I seen someone not be impressed. Until now, every place I showed them they just seemed disappointed. One of the places was a ski town popular with a lot of celebrities, not Aspen, and they were just like, it's okay. I can't deny I was a little offended by their indifference, but whatever. They were never outright rude during the day, but were surprised when I didn't buy lunch for them. As I said, you're paying for my time, food is on you. But when I got back to town and dropped them off at their hotel, it got interesting. The wife says, you can just park in the back and leave the keys at the desk. Tell them they are for the Smith family. Me, I'm sorry, what? Wife, this truck, just park it in the back. We might use it later. Me, this is my truck. I'm not leaving it here. That's not part of the deal. Wife, oh please, there is no way you can own a vehicle like this. It obviously belongs to your company. Me, I do this job self-employed, on my days off from my regular job. I assure you, this is my truck. I can show you my name on the title. Wife, young man, I had just turned 30. If you don't do as you're told, I will be forced to call your boss. Me, you mean me? I am my boss. Wife, okay, smart ass. Hit your boss on the phone, right now. I thought about just driving off. It's 8 p.m., but then had a better idea. I called my supervisor at my real job. We'll call him Dan. Dan has been in the oil field for 14 years and could be quite the cusser. Good supervisor. He knew what I did on my days off and even sent people my way a few times. He answered and I just said, one of my clients is demanding to speak with my boss, so here she is, and handed her my phone. Wife, sounding smug, I tried to tell your driver to leave the truck here so we could use it, but he lied and said he owns it. I could hear him yelling, are you ducking, stupid? I didn't discern anything else, but I know he gave her a good thrashing. She just walked to the window, handed me my phone and said, he wants to talk to you, then walked away. Boss, that fix your problem? Me, thanks Dan. Boss, anytime brother. Next one is titled, my neighbor is horrible. So, I just want to vent because this is really frustrating to deal with. We have lived in a townhome that's connected to 3 others, and we all have the same landlord. So basically, our neighbor literally finds anything to come knock at our door like a cop and yells at us for the smallest thing. And I understand if you have a problem. It's normal to speak out about it, but there's a way to speak to people in a decent way without belittling and screaming. She has complained about playing music loud in our house, our walls are thin, and the music was being played in my mom's room in the TV because she likes to clean and listen to music, but it was at a normal level. She came and yelled at me because my stepdad parked really close to her car and got mad because I didn't have the keys to move the car. The next day, she literally apologized to my mom because she screamed at me really loud. Another time my boyfriend dropped me off and was mad because he parked close to her spot, and when I got out the car, she almost ran me over. And now she is complaining that our dog pooped around her car when there are other dogs that come around where we live and poop. We always keep our dog in our backyard. She told us she was going to file a complaint on the landlord. But before that she wanted to call the cops because she said it's against the law for me not to pick up my dog's poop. She took pics of the poop and I'm assuming sent it to the owner. The worst part is we are not supposed to have dogs here, and we are most definitely getting in trouble. We might get kicked out, because there is no way I'm giving my dog away. We never complain when all our grown kids smoke weed in front of our house, or when they start arguing outside and make big scenes. She's so rude, but there have been times she has asked for favors and we willingly help out without hesitation, even the way she is towards us. I'm really upset and I'm not sure how to handle the situation. I could never treat anyone the way she has talked to me. It ruins my whole day. Maybe I'm just weak and I can't tell her off. Next one is titled, My Wife is a Thug. My wife and I are senior citizens. In other words, we are OLD. My dear wife is a strong, independent, take no crap from anyone type of woman. I adore her for it. She keeps me in line, pushes me to be a better man, and is the reason behind my modest success in life. She is sarcastic, is wicked smart, can cuss like a sailor, and as she gets older, her filter is practically non-existent. A few months ago, we decided to treat ourselves. We made reservations and went to a rather high-end restaurant. They had a maître d', sommeliers, highly trained wait staff, etc. My wife, even though she is in her 70s, has very little gray hair and can pass for 55. She was wearing a very pretty white, lacy blouse, very flattering black pants, and black flats. She looked good. When we arrived, there was no line, surprisingly, and the maître d' had apparently stepped away from the podium where he stands. We were waiting there, and my wife was right next to the podium, and I had sat down at one of the benches provided by the entrance, when another couple came in. Without missing a beat, the man walked up to the podium and told my wife, Rockefler, not the name he used, we have reservations for 2. My wife said that she was sure someone would be with them shortly. The woman huffed a little, and the man said, Please seat us now. My wife told them that she is waiting to be seated, but the man said again, Seat us now. So my wife said, Right away, walk this way. She walked away with them behind her as she walked around the partition, separating the entrance to the dining area, circled around to the other end and led them back to the entrance and, pointing to the bench, said, Sit down. The man looked like he was going to blow a gasket, and my wife repeated, I don't work here, you moron. You wanted me to seat you, so sit the duck down. As the couple were sputtering, and before it could escalate future, the maître d' arrived. We gave our name and he led us away. There was no yelling and no threats of police. We had a wonderful meal, overpriced, but oh well, and the other couple was several tables away from us. We didn't interact again with them, but they did shoot us dirty looks now and then. Now, before you say my wife overreacted and could have explained that she didn't work there in a better way, she has a wicked sense of humor and hates idiots. She loves being a smartass and is so good at it. One of the reasons that I, after being with her all these years, still love being put in my place by her when I start getting a little too misogynistic. Next one is titled, How I Got a Store Manager Fired for Selling My Property to a Karen Mom. I'm 26M and am both autistic and have severe PTSD from some childhood trauma caused by both of my parents that I really don't want to get into. I'm on a few different medications for depression and migraines and have to live in Section 8 housing that I just moved into a few months ago after being on the waiting list for years. I don't like being touched or loud noises, and I certainly don't like seeing anyone take my stuff. When I moved to this city for the Section 8 housing, I've been gifted a brand new Razor Kick scooter by a friend to get around my new area with, and I love it. It's black and made a bit sturdier than typical ones for an adult to ride and has bigger wheels. It also isn't sold in the local stores, but they have similar looking ones in the bike department. And obviously, I don't just leave it outside when I go into a store. I fold it up and put it in my cart while shopping. I look kinda twitchy, so most people leave me alone, and I'm just fine with that. But touch me without consent or take my stuff and be ready for a massive freak out. I went down the canned food aisle and started browsing the chunky soup. When I picked what I'd wanted and put the cans in the cart, I noticed my scooter was gone, and there was a woman with a kid fast walking away while carrying it. I shouted after them to return my scooter, but they ignored me, so I abandoned my cart to give chase. When I caught up to the lady and the kid, I tried to take my scooter back, and the kid screamed so loud my eardrums felt like they were gonna pop. And the Karen mom shoved down while yelling something I didn't hear because my ears were ringing and my brain just stopped working for a moment. A manager noticed the commotion and came to see what the trouble was. I didn't even get a chance to speak when the Karen mom started calling me a creep and was demanding I be thrown out. I kept trying to explain what really happened, but the Karen just kept yelling over me. We were separated and I was made to sit in an office. The manager approached me, and I asked him where my scooter was, and he admonished me and said it was sold to the Karen, and I shouldn't have tried to take it from the kid when they were just trying to buy it from the store. Then he pointed out he had to give the Karen a discount just because of the situation. I understandably freaked out and told him that the Karen had taken my scooter that I came to the store with, and it wasn't sold there. The manager just looked confused, and I nearly broke down. Then I pulled my phone out and showed him a picture a friend had taken of me with the scooter right after I'd gotten it. The next thing I knew, he was running out of the room. And when he finally came back, he said that the Karen was long gone. I pulled out my phone back out and started frantically calling the police. The manager actually tried to stop me by putting his hand over my phone, and I freaked out from him touching me. He backed off because I nearly kicked him and was panicking and saying he'd buy me another scooter from the store. I told him that my scooter was expensive and didn't come from their store, and I wanted mine back. Well, it turned out I had managed to dial 911 because the police were already listening in on the line and the operator was trying to get my attention. I just told him to send someone over because my property had been stolen. I had to wait for another hour at least while police showed up and then went through the CCTV footage. It clearly showed me entering the store with the scooter and showed the Karen and her crotch goblin taking it from my cart, and the mess that followed when I tried to get it back. I wanted my scooter back, and police had to find the Karen from the camera footage of the parking lot. They found her address by running her plate number they got from the camera footage, and I got to ride in the back of a police car while we went to her apartment. The officer knocked on her door, and I didn't hear the situation because I was still sitting in the back of the car with the windows closed. But the Karen mom looked really angry and eventually brought out the scooter after some back and forth. She practically had to wring it out of her kid's hands. I got let out of the car and they asked me if I wanted to press charges for assault because the mother had shoved me. She looked ghost white when I said I did want that. But the Karen started crying and begging me. She said that she honestly thought it was something the store was selling, and it was her kid's birthday. I yelled that didn't excuse her stealing from someone else's cart, let alone from a legally disabled man. Her kid was also loudly crying and my ears were hurting again. So I said I wouldn't press charges on her if she didn't come near me or my stuff again. But I wanted something done about the manager at the store for letting this happen. And I was ready to ride my scooter all the way back there. But the police convinced me that it'd be better if I just went home and calmed down. I later learned on my next visit to the store a couple days later that manager was fired over what happened because he already had a few complaints against him and didn't bother to check that the scooter wasn't one of theirs. And the store gave the Karen and her kid a replacement Razor scooter that they had in stock because she'd already paid for one. But she was also banned for 6 months from the store for shoving me and stealing my property. I was also given a $1.50 gift card for some free groceries since I wasn't able to buy anything the day that mess happened. Now every time I go into that store, a few of the employees know me by name. And one actually told a random kid to leave me alone when he asked about my scooter. I certainly keep a better eye at now too. I've also since added a name tag on the underside of the scooter with my full name on it just in case this happens again. Thanks for listening.